Hello, 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 and welcome to another RANGROO cast with me, RANGROO, and my good friend.
Val, hello everyone, and suppose this will probably be my first cast as well in that
Yeah,
regard.
and we are doing a 2v2 on Plunging Valley, I think.
I think it's plunging. It does sound a bit strange though, so I
Yeah,
mean, we
the
should
Valley
probably
of
probably email
Plungers.
Eugen. Exactly.
Please change map name. Okay, so on left hand side in blue, playing as Blueful, we got Case Kuchen and Alp.
I am not gonna. I'm not even gonna try and say. I think it's Kazakuken. I'm not
Kazakuchen,
sure,
it has an
but
accent on the A,
I
it's like
feel. I'm
European.
sorry. Yeah, whoever's any Germans, please. I've not done German for a while. Please don't kill me. So let's go over to the red side where we have the Brigadier General Demo the Torturer, which is
Oof.
quite the fearsome name,
Yeah, it's a bit
uh,
scary.
and Prince Eugen 2.0. I don't know what happened to Prince Eugen 1.0, but I guess he's his improved brother. So, do
Mm-hmm.
you want to get into decks? Do you want to talk about? Well, I mean, I might as well read out the decks. We
Sure.
have Kazukuka with a NATO mechanized deck, which is really
Yeah,
popular,
very
especially
good.
with this being such a small map. We have Alp with a full NATO deck,
Ooh.
which I mean, I personally like the full NATO. I think that's my favorite deck
Mm-hmm.
at the moment.
Very meta, both those decks.
Very, very meta. Then on the other side, we've got Demo, who's using a Soviet deck, which is reasonably
Also
meta.
meta.
Yeah, and then Prin's using a Polish deck, so
Oh,
uh,
that's an oddball.
it's very out there. Not to say that I don't like a good Polish deck every so often, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely
You do have a
a
lot of
suboptimal.
disadvantages.
You do, but at the end of the day, if you can have fun with a deck, why not use it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about having fun in this game, really. And sometimes running depending on your mindset. But you can still do some pretty decent stuff with the Polis. I mean, the Tradi ain't the worst tank, it's still pretty decent.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're definitely passable, but I still think. Well, let's put
Mm-hmm.
it this way: they're better than Anzac, but that's that's probably about as far as you can go, really.
Yeah, you can. There's only so low you can go, and Anzac is rock bottom. It probably just annoyed quite a few players or viewers. Just yeah,
I like Anzac. It's
yeah.
just maybe not the best. But let's take a look over at the blue side because
Mhm.
they've got a lot of these DK1s, Kazakuken, which
Oh
are
yeah.
super sneaky stealth recon tanks.
Mhm.
Lots and lots of infantry. Only one K1. I mean, he's got a mechanized deck, so he doesn't have access to anything much heavier. To be
Yeah, you
honest,
don't get those Karimera Shikis, which
you
are
don't,
godlike,
unfortunately.
absolutely
Um,
godlike.
but yeah, quite a strong opening. Lots of Jaegers because Jaegers
Jaeger spam.
are the word. They are. I'm pretty sure if there was a New Testament written, like a new Bible passage added, Jaegers would be somewhere in there.
It'd be the
Um,
11th commandment.
they're God's children.
Mhm.
But
Yao Jaeger spam and Jaeger
yeah,
bomb.
exactly. But over on the red side, we have something a little. I mean, a little bit heavier, but not really too much. There's no super heavies coming out. Just some T80s, some SU-122s for
A
that fire
rope.
support.
A bit of
Yeah, we've
voice
got.
crack, yeah, and a rope, and a Jaguar T72. But it's like medium heavy armor from medium heavy armor, from Redfall. And no like big TATU or UMs or PUs, but they do win in
Yeah,
terms of numbers compared to Blue Force tanks.
they do. That's for sure. I'm a bit surprised they haven't gone for something a little heavier because I mean, you can see your opponent's decks before. I'm not. I mean, if this is a ranked game, then
Mm-hmm.
obviously I'd be mistaken. But um, I'm going to assume this is a normal game.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume as well. And yeah, it's already
And
4 minutes in, and still taking a nice little time.
they are indeed. They are indeed. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised to not see a Kimaru coming out on this left hand side. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they've invested in LRM. Why wouldn't you
Yeah, it's
spend some of those points going for the good old Kiyomaru?
yeah. I mean, it's quite amazing how like the clerk and 285 aren't prototyped, but a Kairi Marasiki is honestly better in both those tanks. Just use the
It,
fly rate.
yeah, it can be. I mean, I still think the 205 is a better tank, but the Leclerc definitely is, pretty even. I think
Mm-hmm.
with the old Kiyomaru, and I mean that's one of the reasons why. mixed NATO so strong. But we do see Alp bringing out some K1s, so he's not completely deploying without tanks, which would be a bit awkward.
So bloody good K1s. They're so cost effective. They're like an IP Abrams, but 5 points more and you got a few extra armor.
You do indeed, and they are they're just really good.
Indeed.
I'm a little I'm not sure I like Prince Eugen's opening here. He's got these 4 ASU 85s, which I mean they're obviously fine, but then he sacrificed 40 points for that when he could have had. He had two. He had an M1 and M2 Jaguar, I think, which were the M1 is not amazing, but the M2 is quite a good tank for the price, I think. So it's a bit of a shame, I think, because I don't really like these Meridas quite as much. But we'll have to see how they perform.
Indeed, and already almost 6 minutes in, bloody hell, this is a little bit bonkers.
These guys are very relaxed. There's some just some Bob Marley music playing in the background. They're just chilling out.
Oh my God! We're actually gonna play a match here. 6 minutes in, and away we go, and no planes to be seen.
No planes to be seen, but we do have large deployments on all sides. We have Alp's large column coming here. It'll be interesting to see how much he actually invests down into the bottom side at Bravo, because it's generally the way that you look at the map. It's Foxtrot you expect the red team to control most of, and Bravo you expect the blue team. Yeah, to the blue team to control a lot of. But with these helicopters the demo's sending in, I think he'll be able to capture some of those Bravo towns on the left.
Yeah.
Before Alp even gets there.
Yeah,
but it looks like Alp isn't even interested. I mean, Alp isn't even interested. Look at these vehicles. I think if he was going to fast move them there, they wouldn't have gone down that road. So he might just be going straight through to Delta.
Yeah, because Delta's not that bad in terms of an infantry fight. You got a very well done forest with a lot of good places to place infantry, and for a bit of a tank engagement. But yeah, this is quite a ballsy move going straight to Delta. It's not a bad run because that is a +2 point sector. But if this doesn't work out, they're gonna completely lose Bravo, and that's gonna be a pain to retake.
Well, it's always that trade-off, isn't it? Because if they take this 2-point sector, I think they'll probably win the game. That's usually how this goes. If you make a good impact, and if you can take the enemy's 2-pointer, you're sitting pretty, really. Although we do see a Falcon coming in and just getting absolutely annihilated by those two.
Drop his bombs.
Those two ROMs, I think. Oh, 1 HP.
Yeah,
that's gotta feel bad.
That was very lucky. I think that's a blind fire as well, which was a little bit ballsy.
Very ballsy. I guess they've probably played this map very often before if they're gonna already put a bomb in right there. But it looks like Prince Eugen maybe a bit more reserved than they expected. Didn't push up quite as far with those ROMs and those tanks.
But Blue look at they're just going all out on the top hand part of Delta, and on the bottom. There's just too many units to really count. You got K1s, AMAXs, Legions, VABs. The whole kit and caboodle here.
Yeah, they really have. These guys are they're really throwing everything into Delta when they're also attacking to the north side of the forest in between Foxtrot and Delta. And if they can pull this off, like I said, I think this is a really nice position to be in.
Indeed. Now they definitely do outnumber Mr. Demo in the middle. Them only really having a few light armor and some infantry guys. So this big medium tank push from Alp, he could definitely get quite a bit of ground, just as long as he really starts moving fast. Because if Red 4 starts bringing in those heavy tanks, it's gonna be too well.
No, it really isn't. I mean, the thing is that, like I mentioned before, I was kind of surprised that the Demo or Prince Eugen up here didn't start with some heavier tanks, because that is a way to completely try and shut this down. Because there's only I think there's 2 K1s in there. Yep, 2 K1s. Yeah, one just got taken out by the Gonus Jelk, I believe. Rest in peace, my friend. You will be missed.
Oh, MiG-29.
Oh yeah, the bombing strike coming in.
There's a clusters, I believe. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that CS?
I think it was a CS. Yeah, the K1 survived, which is just a little unfortunate for the red team, because that was really close. That would have taken that K1 right out. But like I was saying, I think the red team just really, they should have probably been a little heavier on tanks in deployment. But I mean, it looks like they're actually not doing too bad. Although there's Spadokinesia. I'm gonna. Sorry, I apologize, Polish people, for butchering the name of this unit. But you know, these Jaegers are pushing quite far in.
Now, really, I think it's going to be down to Blue Fork and CV and Delta ASAP, because they are losing by a +2 right now, and they really want to stop our point blade and, you know, get the point on Delta, even if it's just a neutralization and not a full capture.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Although, I have to say the blue team now has to be very careful because there's a lot of points worth of units down in Bravo here. You know, you've got your BMP3s and a T-80. And this could be really devastating if they can make a good move up into the side of Alpha, because there's not really much there. I mean, they're bringing in some Aslavs and DKs, but you know, if the red team does make a very determined push here, they could really do some damage to the side of Alpha. But honestly, I think that won't happen, and the reason for that is because the blue team has all the pressure in the middle at Delta.
I mean, even just like looking, those BMP3s have moved up a little bit, could just get some fantastic hits on this supply line going from Charlie into Delta. But yeah, you're right, like, you know, this is real doers in Wargame. Once we deploy a unit in a zone, we're not going to move it, because that BMP3, I brought it for Bravo, god damn it, it's staying in Bravo.
Yeah, you've moved to Bravo, you just... you're here now, you just got to deal with your fate, but the blue team is pushing all the way through to Delta, just a lone poor Tunguska attempting to get away. I think he will manage to reverse in time, but...
Yeah, just when he gets up the hill, he's good. You do have a T-64 BM being brought out, some infantry guys. You want to get out some infantry, at least in the town in Delta, to try and hold it out as a last line of defense.
They do. I mean, like you said, the red team is ticking +2, but I think this is going to change very quickly because this is a pretty determined force here. I mean, unfortunately, they only have the one damaged K1 there, so that BM can potentially turn things around quite well, but we'll just have to see how this goes, really.
I mean, honestly, for Redfall, it's probably a good idea to start getting some fire support units out, like OSU 12254. It's got to be RDM3, which is a pretty good idea, because this is an open field engagement between these tanks and the infantry, so having, you know, fire support stuff will definitely help deal with these legions and these light armor.
It definitely will, although if you have a look down in Bravo, there's a big blue push coming in.
Whoa! How'd it go
lots of Jaegers. I know, it came from nowhere. Lots of Jaegers, some DKs, and some M163 CSs, which are a fantastic fire support unit.
And the thing about all these
sorry.
infantry, no, my bad. But the thing about all these infantry guys is, you know, Jaegers are better than the standard Gornos Draculae and VDVs and Mods Draculae. So even though they are slightly outnumbered, you know, the machine gun 3 definitely hits a few tiers higher.
It really does. You know, it's just such a fantastic support weapon in the Jaeger's arsenal there, and we do see a counter push coming in Delta. We see some BRDM3s, and like I mentioned, that BM doing a lot of work because there's only one K1 there. They're kind of regaining a bit of control, but it is still dangerous though, because if the blue team decaps Delta, and also they're just bringing a CV up into yeah, well they've not actually unloaded it yet, but CV just on the edge of Foxtrot there, and they could be looking at a +1 lead. I
just want to note, back in Blue 4 base we have a Polish recon infantry I don't want to say the name of. Just I see what he's trying to do, maybe try cut off the supply lines, but he wants to get it on a building quickly. I'm amazed they haven't, like, Blue 4 hasn't, you know, brought a helicopter to try and stop this yet.
Well, that MI2T that delivered them went straight past this Gazelle cannon, so I think that Alp... I mean, maybe the vision was blocked, to be fair, but if not, maybe Alp was sleeping a little bit with the checks
in the middle.
Oh, that CV, is it going to get away from that? Oh no, it's not. The Zviadowski, I think it is. Zviadowski. Is doing very well there to take out that CV.
That's some sneaky play, but that's some pretty good sneaky play right there. I mean, that's 8 RPGs, hopefully that's 8 kills. We do have that push going on into Bravo, and damn, it's doing really well. I mean, LP has a fire support, CSs and infantry moving up. It's a very nice mix.
It is this cluster strike coming in, which may take out a lot of the fire support, but actually misses pretty much all of those M113s, so that's really not quite as much as they want, although I think Alp needs to unload those those M113s.
Oh, way too close to the motos. You got Peace Spasm doing some peaceful things, killing a motor. Very
Well, we
interesting play.
see something quite interesting here. The blue team's actually managed to, because they've had so much pressure on Delta, they managed to wrap around infantry to the back of Bravo, so I think Bravo really is, you know, it is a blue sector now.
Yeah, and this is just falling down for Red 4 right now. Because they have lost a majority of their map just due to the blue 4 manoeuvring. And really all they have, even the Foxtrot blue 4 is doing a lot of attacking on that point. Jaegers and M113s just going at it with their machine guns.
These poor, I'm just going to call them Spados, I think that's the easiest way. The Spados are, they're engaging these M113s, but the M113s are just killing them, you know?
It's sad.
It's very sad. They've been taken down from a 4-unit squad with 4 men in to just 2. But I mean, I think this game is a really, really good example to me of how you have to be really wary of like a big push like this, because the blue team literally sent. I mean, did they even send anything to Bravo? I don't think they did. They just went straight through. And the thing is, and especially on this map, this is something that's quite good about this map for doing this sort of strategy, is that once the red team takes Bravo, there's not really another sector there apart from the home sector, and you know, naturally people are always really afraid of doing that. They're really afraid of pushing all the way to the home sector, just because, you know, they think there's a ton of stuff there, and there might be a lot of stuff, but generally there's not really that much.
Like, if you're looking Alpha, you know, that's hardly anything there, and that would have been a really good flanking maneuver. Or at least just get a recon guy up here to do a bit of reconnaissance to see what's what. Because they could have done quite a bit of damage if they wrapped around Bravo and Alpha. It would have put quite a lot of pressure off from Delta.
They could have done. Here comes the surrender vote from Demo the Torturer, although I feel his dreams are going to be tortured tonight, because this was quite a brutal victory here for the blue team, just pushing all the way into Delta.
And a few final shots of the battle, and yeah, it shall be a good game to Blue 4, taking the victory, and not really too much in terms of kills, but it was only a 11-minute match, only a 455 point advantage.
Yeah, I think it really goes to show that, you know, when you've got a lot of good positioning and that sort of stuff in a conquest game, you know, because the winning team doesn't actually have more conquest points than the losing team. It's just that the losing team knew that, you know, it's so hard to come back from that position. It really is. And even though the points aren't that different, I think the red team, like when you're in that situation, when you've been pushed in, it just seems like there's Jaegers everywhere, which I mean, there are Jaegers everywhere. That's the problem for them. You know, you've got that thing in your mind, and you have like the subconscious sort of idea, like they have way more than me. We've already lost, and it's kind of a shame, but that's, you know, it's just the mind games really. But again, I think, like I mentioned at the very start of this, if they took the 2-point sector, they were going to win, and well, they did.
Yeah, I think Blue 4 did a really good job of putting a lot of pressure on Red for this match, because, you know, they did that giant push right at the beginning into the middle point. You know, they did a little bit of skirmishing up top, but they also attacked Bravo. You know, instead of just going all out in the middle, they actually did a pretty decent push onto Bravo, and they were putting pressure on all sides. Is what I'm really just trying to say, and spreading out your units like and still managing to do a dent into the enemy, especially on that map, is a pretty bloody good show.
It definitely is a good show. There's obviously well played to Kazakukin and Alp, and commiserations to Demo, Prince Eugen.
Just really shows like how a big push like that on maps can just really mess you up. Like doing big pushes at the start of the match and like go all out, try to get as close to the enemy home sector, can work really well, because even if you don't, you know, if it starts failing, you get that very nice early game advantage of, you know, holding the enemy home points, gaining you a bit of points.
You definitely do. I mean, it can be risky to do something like that. You know, like I mentioned, the red team was far ahead in points, but You know, if
they were gonna
you're
lose.
if you're determined in yourself and your units, you know that you will be able to take that 2-point
Yeah.
there. You know, it's going to win you the game. Simple as. And it works pretty much every map. If you do a massive push onto one side, you can usually break the enemy there. And because you have like a local superiority, like you have more units in that sector than the enemy does, you tend to kill the enemy units without losing as many of yours. So it's never an even trade. Like, say if you have, let's just say that you have like 2K1s and they have one BM.
Yeah.
You will almost always kill that BM before it can kill one of your K1s because you're
Because
doing
you've got
double the
two
damage.
guns.
Exactly, yeah. So, you know, I think that's why Kazakukin has such a good KD, and you know, obviously he played very well. But you know, having that superiority in that local sector, and then also, you know, still doing well enough to sort of fend off the enemies in Bravo as well, and eventually try and counter push. It really, I think it's just a really good demonstration of how pushing a 2-point like that, or even pushing any side in a map really hard, can
Yeah.
really just catch your opponent off guard and really win you the game.
Even if you have to like put, like give up a sector of your own, if you know you can make your points back.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
But yeah, let's enter it. Yeah, I'm RANGROO,
And I'm Valh.
and as usual, please just take it easy.